Hi, I'm Deborah, the Gutsy Granny, and as you may have been aware of on my YouTube channel, I've been interviewing the amazingly gorgeous, wonderful friend, Cate Dubois.
Hello. Hi. Thanks, Deb. Yeah, I'm Cate Dubois. I'm that triggered coach, and you can check out my YouTube channel from below and subscribe. Thank you, Deb.
So what we've been covering is some pretty nice, juicy, gutsy topics. The first one we did in the first week was conscious manifesting, which I found fascinating. I always do. The second one we did in our second week was conscious relationships. Again, really interesting topic. And we alluded to what we're going to start talking about this week, which is mirroring. Now, mirroring is one of the biggest areas of growth that I've experienced when I've actually been able to understand that it's all happening within myself, is what I'm projecting out. But Cate is an expert, and I urge you to listen to what she says, because if there's one thing you can nail in your life, it's mirroring, and then the rest will just all fall into place. Would you agree, Cate?
Absolutely. It's important for us to understand that the external world that we see is a mirror, and that mirror is being held to us so that we can evolve and move through our karma, if you like, for want of a better word. We don't need to get too deeply into that part of spirituality, but definitely mirroring is a tool that we can use to heal and evolve ourselves. Yeah. So one of the things that we need to understand with mirroring, before we even get into mirroring, is understanding that everything that we see outside of ourselves is an illusion. It's an illusion created by the perception of our mind, and our mind has created that perception from all the information that it's gained since we were born, and maybe even before, if you believe in previous lives or epigenetically coming through the line in a family. Okay. So when we grow up, we have certain ideas about ourselves because they're being fed to us by our parents, our school teachers, our relatives, our friendship groups, the media, and all of these external forces are helping us to develop a sense of who we are, and they have a great influence on us. So, for example, if we have people external to us showing us that we are a good girl when we're a little girl growing up, we will have an image of ourselves that we're a good girl. If we're being told that we're a bad girl, then we will have an image of ourselves as being a bad girl. So you can just imagine that every single moment that you've ever experienced since you were a child, extrapolate that out to now. I'm age 56, and know that every single thought that I have has been created by all of those accumulative experiences, right?
Yeah. Which aren't necessarily correct.
No. So they're not correct, because I can tell you I have 2 children myself. I brought them up exactly the same as each other. They're my daughter Camille and my son Dion, male and female. They have very different perceptions of their childhood. Why do they have different perceptions of their childhood? Because they came here for very different reasons on a soul journey, but they experienced the world differently through their lens. And, their world was mirroring them at school, and they were in different classrooms. So, of course, their experiences are going to be different. So, you just imagine every conversation that you ever had, every glance, every energetic feel when someone comes into your field, all of the experiences you've had thus far are informing your vision of how you see the world, your perception of how you see the world.
So we touched on last week about bullying. You brought it up, and then I commented, well, I was always bullied as a child. Now, I've gone through my life believing that I was the victim, that I was being bullied by horrible people that didn't like me, that were jealous of me, whatever. I'd had that perception in my mind. And what you touched on last week was that I have to take responsibility for that, because I am projecting my bully outwards. Is that correct?
Exactly. So you have so this is one form, I guess, of mirroring, is that you have a sense of vulnerability about yourself, or fear even, and then the bully is actually feeling that, and they're like seeking that out, I guess, in one sense. But But
We're talking subconsciously.
yeah,
clearly.
yeah. But mirroring actually goes even deeper than that. So think about the person in your life that has upset you the most. Somebody who has done something
Okay, so
wrong by you.
let's do a role
one.
play.
Yeah,
My mother.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
So what
Not a
is-
hard one to choose. Most people would say that. Or
Yeah. So what is one situation that you can think of right now about your mother that triggered you into having an opinion of her?
Hold on.
Just one situation.
Hold on. A situation where what?
Where you have accused her of something. So
That I accused
her of being something or doing something.
like she was a drunk, like she was on prescription medication, like
Okay. Well, just one. No. So one.
is that sort of what?
Yeah,
not what
so
she
one-
said to me,
one-
not what she said back to me.
Well, it could be. It could be like she stole to me, or she lied to me, something like that, or she was aggressive with me, or she was tight with me.
Okay,
or,
let's use
so
she was
one.
very aggressive.
Okay, your mum
Okay.
was very aggressive with
Okay.
you. So, first of all, how did that make you feel?
Terrible.
Okay.
Little. Unworthy. Unlovable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you ever
Scared.
Yeah, and that is quite a judgment that you have of your mum, that she's been aggressive towards you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you ever think of a time in your past where you have been aggressive to somebody else?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the guilt and shame that you hold over that, of those moments when you have felt aggressive towards someone else, you have projected that onto your mother because it's easier to be angry at her than it is to actually go in and heal the wound. Now, this is where it gets tricky. You might say, well, this started happening when I was very young. If you look at the quantum field, we're not in a timeline as such where there was a beginning and an end. In the quantum field, it's all happening at the same time. So this is getting a little tricky. So it could be a past life type situation that is coming into this, that needs to be healed, right? So aggression from the past life could be something that you needed to come and face in this life because you were particularly aggressive in a past life. And I can imagine you were probably a warrior going around with your swords or whatever, you know. You could have been that in a past life. You could have been a warrior and you could have been quite aggressive, and somehow your soul has called in this aggressive person, and it's been happening to you, so it can mirror you so that you can then heal the pain and trauma and guilt and shame that you carry for that injury.
So let's keep it
deep mirroring.
Yeah. So let's keep it on this quantum. So one of the things that I've been practicing is self-honesty.
Yeah.
So, and self-honesty is, I've always thought I'm very honest about myself. I look in the mirror and I say I'm ugly. I look in the mirror and I say I'm stupid. Like, that's what I perceived in the past as being very self-honest. I hadn't taken it to the other level where owning the feelings. This is where I still get a bit muddled, even though I've been working on this for a while. So,
okay. I would say every single time we shoot an arrow at somebody else for something that they have done to us, it is something that we have actually done to another at some stage, and we're holding guilt and shame for that. So it could have even been in the playground, for example. I had a situation the other day where a friend broke something of mine and then put it away. And I was feeling so aggressive about it afterwards and so upset, so angry because they didn't mention it. Yet I recalled a time when I was younger where I broke one of my friend's toys and shoved it underneath the bed so I wouldn't get into trouble. And I really hung on to that guilt and shame around doing that.
how did you even remember that? How old were you?
Because I still felt really guilty. I was about 6 years old. I still felt really shameful about that. It's like there is no timeline really. If we have accused ourselves of doing something and we haven't dealt with that and forgiven ourselves with absolute unconditional love and compassion and forgiveness, just this pure sense that it wasn't a mistake, it was just something that offered you new information, then we are going to carry that all the way to the grave until we do actually release ourselves from that shame and guilt. So Shame and guilt is something that it's a waste of time, number one. It implies judgment. It implies that you've done something wrong, and there's never anything that you've ever done wrong.
Hold on.
You just get more information.
How do you then weave in responsibility? You drive somebody, you kill somebody in a car accident. Where is the responsibility? That's an extreme example.
Well, you take full responsibility, but you do it with love. And, if you killed somebody in a car accident, I would still love you without condition. That wouldn't change. I may not like your behavior. And this is what parents have to be very careful about, is absolutely projecting onto their children. Often they'll say, I'm very disappointed in you, or I don't like you, or, there might be discipline, but that starts at home. So when we have unconditional love for ourselves, we can offer that up to everyone else.
That's something really interesting, because I've watched the way my kids are parenting their children, and I don't like your action, but I love you.
Yeah.
They're very separate. Whereas, I don't know if it was the same with you, I was blamed.
We're in the 60s. That was past Catholic Church time and all that. Yeah,
You're a bad girl. You shouldn't have done that. How dare you? Shame on you.
Our next topic, conditional love. I've just started writing a book, I Love You Conditionally.
Wow. So how do we stop those voices going on? Because I will always revert into it's my fault, that I'm the one wrong.
There is no right or wrong. There just is. If we do something that we perceive to be wrong, we have new information. That's it. And, as my sister said, when she, had an indiscretion twice, she said it was the worst mistake I made twice. That's it. We need to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, and have compassion for ourselves, rather than always beating up on ourselves and blaming. Because for sure, if we don't forgive ourselves at some stage in our life, we will project it onto another person, and it's their fault. Remember, nobody's doing anything to us. We are doing everything to ourselves. And we're the only one that has control over that. The world is happening for you, not to you.
It's a big topic, guys. It's such a big topic, and it's such, as I said when we opened up, I think if we could just get that, I think the world would be an extraordinary better place, because people would be able to really
take responsibility with love and compassion.
Yeah. So clearly we have to do a lot more than 4 interviews. So next week we're going to discuss. You just said what we're going to discuss.
Unconditional love versus conditional love.
Unconditional love versus conditional love. So if you're interested and you want to understand what unconditional love is, please subscribe, join, press, do all the little doobie things you've got to do, and stay on this journey with us, because we love having you. Just to learn to be better people, happier people, more loving people.
More love.
More love, more love. We're going to share the love with you all.
What
Bye.
the world
Is now is love, sweet love. Bye, darling.
Thank you.